Music story.
Um,
You ready to do the bio?
I am.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bio
there's
pulled
that
up.
little thing. I got double chin, but that's all right. I'm still cute. Very cute.
All right. We're gonna get it going. Hit record. Well, you ready?
Mm-hmm. You're live.
Hey, I'm live.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Kwesi Dreams, and your man Cat Business.
Yep.
You ready, Kenya?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got this guest today that's like a legend.
I know.
In the Bay Area.
She's an Oakalnd legend.
Yeah,
She is an icon.
she is a legend, an icon. She is the person that got me on radio.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we go ahead and do the bio, and then we're gonna tell some stories, some throwback stories, some new stories, and it's gonna be a fun show today.
It is
I
going to be a
guarantee.
fun show. Absolutely. And y'all know how I'm always saying how much I love to have women on the show. And not that I'm not saying anything about our men, our non-binary folk, on but I do love when I can look up to somebody as another woman entrepreneur, businesswoman, and really all around icon that our own Felicia Bridges is right here.
Hey, you gotta put some respect on her name. It's Doctor.
Oh,
Felicia.
and wait, okay, can I just say, you guys,
Bridges.
right, okay, let me just say
Dr.
this.
Felicia
I
Bridges.
just found that out yesterday, everybody. This is our station manager here at KGPC Radio, and I did not find that out until yesterday, so I will put some respect on her name. And here we go.
Here we go.
Felicia Bridges is an educator, journalist, and producer with a passion for school. She is the host and executive producer of the education radio and television show Talk to Teacher, which examines education from the inside out. She is a graduate of University of California at Berkeley and University of Manchester, England. She holds a doctorate in education at Mills College, and her focus is developing a student-teacher collaboration model to improve both student learning and teacher development. She is also currently our general manager here at KGPC Radio, Peralta Community Radio Station, which focuses on wellness programming. Can I please get a shout out for our girl Felicia?
Hey!
Yes,
You-
yes.
You know what? I wouldn't be in the position that I am if it wasn't for this woman right here.
Oh my
Neither
God.
would I, because
Yeah.
if you weren't,
Oh
I
my
wouldn't
God.
That's what I'm saying. She's
Right.
created a lot of
Yes.
opportunity for people throughout the Bay Area.
be. Yes.
And how long have I known you, Felicia? Like 6 years now?
Yeah, about 6 years, maybe longer than that. Maybe 7.
7 years.
7 years.
Mhm.
And I was blessed.
Aaron.
I was blessed to be able to go on your show 7 years ago, Ear to the Concrete, and y'all were interviewing me, right? And the energy was
Yeah.
just so amazing, and I just knew that this was the next step in my chapter to be able to utilize my voice to educate, motivate, and inspire people in the community to live their best life, and you gave me that opportunity.
Well, you know why, right?
No, I
Well,
don't know why.
I don't either. So
Yeah.
tell us.
Your energy was so positive,
Yeah.
and that's why I wanted you. I'd say he's got to be good luck. You were like my good luck charm. I'm like, you've got to have somebody with personal, with energy like that around you in your personal space. And so I just picked you because you were just, your energy was just over the top, and it has not dwindled. It's only gotten better and bigger.
Well, let me ask you, since I was not around then, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're new school. Old school.
I didn't know either one of y'all then. So let me ask you, what were the circumstances that you even met Kat and and then decided, okay, this is somebody I want to work with, and not just then, but now here we are again with the Anything Can Happen show. And so how did this whole thing trickle down? Because it trickled down to me too, because here I'm sitting, right? How did it start, Miss Felicia?
So, well, like I said, I had a show with a fellow producer.
Shout out
to the Dat Boy Media Productions. Woo! and together we had a show called Ear to the Concrete. We were at KPFA, and we were airing on KPFB over the weekend. And we were posting on social media. So we were on Facebook, we were on Instagram, Twitter, and we got a reach out from Mario. He says, I need to be on your show.
We're not going to say government.
Oh, that's
name.
right. Kat.
Government names.
Kat. Well, yeah, because I'm DJ Rapunzel for folks who don't know. I used to have hair down almost to the ground.
Well, you almost do right now today too.
I'm
concerned.
Hello.
That's just Pocahontas right there. Yeah.
So can I just backtrack a little bit, you guys?
Yeah, come on.
Felicia, how did you get started? So you have a doctorate, okay, and then it looks like your passion is education, and we are doing that here at this station. We are educating the community. We are all in the wellness and finance and fitness and nutrition field on our show, and so I want to know how you went from all that education background that I just talked about in your bio to now being here. What a odd journey.
Well, actually, it's not so odd because my undergraduate education, I double majored, so I have a degree in rhetoric, which I was initially going to be a intellectual property attorney, and then I also have a BA from Berkeley in mass communications. So I also had a love for media. I started actually my media career in radio at KABL Radio. If anybody remembers cable, KBL. Anyway, they're the cable car radio, and I started there. I wore a couple of hats. I was the receptionist, and I was also the assistant to the director of public affairs. So I would help her research shows and get her copy ready for the radio, and that was before the internet. So
started from the bottom.
Started from the bottom.
These young folks don't know what it's like to live in a world without the internet.
Without the internet,
I
started the old school way.
I
had to do research. So it was basically a lot of phone calls.
Sure.
And a lot of just talking to people to find out information on things.
But even before that, can you tell us about Manchester, England, as somebody who just came from England? Shout out to my girl Emma, who I stayed with in London. What made you go to England to go to school?
I always wanted to go out of the country, and there was an opportunity for me to go to Manchester and get my master's. So I went to I applied to the University of Manchester, and I got accepted. I got a master's in art history and critical conversation because I wanted to develop my cultural knowledge.
Yeah. So for people who are interested maybe in matriculating overseas, does all of that transfer back here to this country?
Well, that's a good question, and I made sure that it did.
Right.
So you have to go to
do your research.
Yeah, you have to find foreign universities that are they have a rating system, and it goes from, I think it starts at D. Is it a D?
Right.
D, C, B, and A's are which are equivalent across the board.
Okay.
So they'll take your credentials from those universities that are foreign that have a rating.
Okay.
And so, but worldwide, University of Manchester is 23 in the world as far as universities, and I had no clue that I had actually gone to a world recognized university that had such clout until I got in, and people was like, what? Particularly in England, they were like, you got in?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah. And I remember one time I was at a banquet somewhere, and I had also applied to Cambridge. I also got into Cambridge.
Wow.
But I had applied, and this guy was he was from England. I said, I'm getting ready to move there, and he just couldn't believe me.
Wow.
And he was talking. I said, yeah, I want to go to school there. I'm going to go to university there. And he said, well, what undergrad did you go to? And I said, UC Berkeley. He shut up.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He shut up. He
sure.
didn't say a word after that. But yeah, so I lived there. I loved England. I didn't want to come back.
Really?
I did not want to come back. I loved it.
What did you love about it?
Oddly enough, the people there were actually very, very friendly. I mean, just naturally, they will call you love and so forth, but they were they made an honest attempt to just be friendly and cordial and invite me. I was being invited for dinner all over the place.
Right.
So I just found it a very welcoming.
Dinner with the Queen of England? Is that what you're saying?
Not quite.
Oh,
although I went to the palace a couple of times, but it was actually quite dry there.
Right.
But in the streets, everyone was just so nice. Just everywhere.
So what made you come back? If it was
I had a daughter, and she, not to go into too many details, but I had an agreement where I would have to have her back in the country every 6 months, and one of those excursion back into the country,
you stayed.
I ended up staying.
Lucky us, because if you didn't stay, none of this would be possible. And
so, oddly, that's how I ended up at KPFA, because I'm like, I like radio. I want to continue into that, because I had written for the Oakalnd Tribune for about 5 years. I was a staff writer there, and so I got into the apprentice program at KPFA. So I really know radio. I know the board.
Right.
I know.
Yes, you do.
I know how to connect wires. I know sounds. I do. I know all the ins and outs. I had to learn the hard way, the grunt way.
Right.
And
now, is it harder though especially when you started? Was it harder as a woman, and particularly as a Black woman, to get started and to really be seen and respected in radio? Because I know your passion is communication and media and all those things.
Yeah.
Was it more challenging? Because, I grew up here in the Bay Area listening to the radio every single day on my way to school, listening to the radio on the weekends, and there were not a lot of women on the radio.
No, it's a tough business, particularly for women. You have to be somewhat aggressive, and I'm not aggressive at all. So I'm the most non-aggressive person out there.
But you were driven.
I was driven.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah, and I definitely, if anything about my entire life is about having that long game. I'm still on my long game.
Yeah.
And the long game is that I knew what I was going to be in the future.
What was that? Like, what did you envision when you first got into this? When
I first got into this game, not only was I going to be on the air, but I was going to be running what's on the air too. I was gonna make a whole bunch of people famous. I'm like, come on, you want to be with me? Come on.
Right.
If you're committed, I'm committed.
So you knew you were gonna be a boss.
I did. I did.
Okay.
Was it anybody in particular that, you know, as you were coming through the game, the radio game and everything, that you looked up to, that you strive to be, or just in entertainment in general?
Yeah. There's a lady. She actually is the founder and owner of TV One, and at the moment, I cannot think of her name, but she inspired me. I read her story. She started Radio One, and she was doing like me. She would have to run the radio station, and her particular station was 24/7, and so she would have to do shows in the middle of the night, and she found herself on occasion sleeping at the station. Now I had to do that too because I had a show where I was subbing for, and the show ran from midnight to 2 a.m. And it was called Pitch a Fit. And shout out to the host of Pitch a Fit. But I had her show for almost 2 years. And I didn't have a car because my car gave out on me. And I literally spent the night at the station. So I would host the show from 12 to 2 a.m. and then I would just go to bed and get up and go to work the next day.
Man, you was hustling.
But she did this too. The lady, she did it too. But she turned her enthusiasm for radio and media, and she bought that one radio station, and she turned it into a media empire. And everybody knows who Radio One is.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows who TV One is. It's this black lady. I'm gonna be her. I'm gonna be her. She's my inspiration, right? So that's where I got it from. She's my inspiration. A little bit of Oprah, but not so much. Because this lady had hustle and she came from nothing.
So, what about Oprah would you say that you would take away from Oprah?
Well, Oprah. We have similar origins. My father was born in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and so I have roots. And anyone who's black who is born in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, they're related. So she's a distant relative of mine.
Oh wow!
So I mean, she's an inspiration for somebody who comes from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, because I own some property there, and the property that I own was actually given to my great grandfather because he was a slave.
Wow.
And slave.
I just found out today. So I was talking to one of my older cousins. My cousin, she's my first cousin to my dad, right? And she was asking me some questions because my dad passed last year, and she was asking me about some questions that if I had any information of the family history. And she was asking me, I didn't really know the people that she was talking about, but I found out some cool information that one of my great grandfather or my great grandfather, you know where the Houston Astros field is in Houston?
Yes.
They used to own the property.
Oh wow!
They used to own that property, but what happened
where
is
the stadium
is.
Wow.
Yeah. And what happened was, at some point after my great grandfather passed away, they stopped paying the property taxes on that land.
That's how they get you.
That's how they'll get you.
That's how they get you.
So they stopped paying the property taxes. They lost the land, and then they ended up building that stadium. Right over there. And I never knew that until just today. I was like, wow, we would have had some real estate out there in Houston. I was like, man, we gotta keep the money flowing in the family.
Keep the money flowing and pay those property taxes. Because my property tax in Kosciuszko, Mississippi is only in the hundreds.
Oh yeah.
So I might as well pay it.
Yeah. You never know if you want to go back out there and retire.
So that's how I have that Oprah connection. And she's inspiring for what she's done.
Yeah.
She's
made $1 billion,
a billion or two, but yeah, she's done well, and she's extremely inspiring. If I get anything from her, it's just to be the best you, be the best you could possibly be. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on being the best me,
and not letting anybody tell you what you can and cannot do, or what your limitations are. Because especially when Oprah was coming up in media, that was the thing. She was a obviously
they thought she was a
Black woman.
Yeah, they didn't tell her she could be on TV and all the things that she wanted
absolutely
to do.
not.
And then when she got to TV, I think part of the lesson here is, especially for a lot of women, is that they'll tell you can't get there.
Right.
And then you get there and they'll tell you can't stay there.
Right.
And then you'll stay there and they'll tell you can't get any further and that you'll hit that glass ceiling.
Right.
And then if you bust through that glass ceiling, they're left like looking stupid. But there's always going to be somebody. Right. And they're going to try to knock you down.
You're this, you're that.
Right. Absolutely. And then the question is why?
Can't be daytime.
Right. What is the reason?
I get that. I get that now.
Sure.
Because
I get that now. And I'm like, what is it? Why do you feel? Why are you putting all your limitations on me?
Very common though, and doesn't that a lot of times come from our families too, that are not used to or comfortable with the success of women, or not just the success of women, but the idea or the goals of women to be outside of the box.
Right.
You got to think about how many generations you go back in. 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago, women were just at the house with the kids. That was like the expectation.
Sure.
So when you start talking about, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm this, I'm that, it's like,
it's
very new.
No, it's true.
It's very true. Women
Yeah.
are still at home with the kids, and there's nothing at all wrong with women being at home, being moms and stuff, like not at all.
Right.
If that is what you want to do.
Right.
But if you're somebody who, like yourself, Felicia, you wanted to do something a little bit different. You were so different. You went all the way to Manchester, England to go to college. And then you came back and you got into this male-dominated field, and you were a single mom at that time. Is that right?
Yep. I was a single mom.
Yeah. What was your family like that you came up with? Okay, I see you laughing. When you decided to do all of these things, Dr. Bridges.
It's funny because my family values education, but for some reason, when you're in the trenches, and when life deals you lemon, our family just sees us as just, that's just Felicia. So they really had no expectations of me, and unless I was like, say, the president of the United States, I was just nothing. I actually got into a disagreement with my cousin over something, and the audacity of him to call me, he literally called me a loser. And
is he too a doctor,
Felicia? No. He's neither of those things.
Oh my, how very interesting.
But yet he just felt, you have all that education, how come you're not a multimillionaire?
Right.
Well, I'm on my way, but again, I'm playing the long game, and people don't see the benefit and some of the routes that we take in order to get successful.
Yeah, but you're doing what you love too.
Right.
Like,
and
that's not the priority though. That's not always the priority.
And the cold part about it is, the cold part about it is they'd rather you sacrifice your love, your passion to go chase the bag, to go get the money.
Yeah, to chase that bag.
And say, you got money, then you're successful, instead of saying, you're doing what you love.
I absolutely am doing what I love.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes what I'm doing in my day-to-day so much fun, because I'm actually doing things that I love. I love radio. I love producing radio. I love editing radio.
And we who work with you know that. We can feel your passion for this work.
I do.
If y'all know how much she does around the station.
Oh my
gosh.
How
many shows she produces by herself.
How many shows are you producing besides our show, the Anything Can Happen show? How many?
I think I produce about, probably in over 30.
Oh my gosh.
30. Yeah. I have about 30 programmers.
Wow.
I produce.
But we're your favorite though, right?
Oh, absolutely. You're one of my favorite. I'm going to follow you guys everywhere. No, you are at my absolute favorite show, my favorite programmers. I have an affinity to your subject matter, to your personalities. to
We
your
love you
fresh,
too.
to
We
your
love you too.
freshness.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for in programmers. I'm looking for people who are the contrast
Yeah.
to what's out there. And you guys are definitely the contrast. And so I'm just waiting for the money to flow because it's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a matter of moments
Oh man.
Well, and
Tomorrow we're
that's-
gonna wake up. It's gonna be a check in the mail.
in the mail.
Well, and that goes to what we were just talking about, as far as following our passions. And listen, we here at the ACH show, we are entrepreneurs,
Oh yeah.
and so we do have people in our lives. I know we have, and we continue to have, some of us, people in our lives, I know I do, who are like, why are you doing A, B, and C? And also as a yoga teacher,
Right.
people are like, why, ma'am? There's no money in that. And so, yes, we do have to eat, and it's the Bay Area, and things are very, very expensive. But also, can't we put some love on people who are following their dreams, and especially people who are trying to help their community, which is what you do, Felicia, through these
Right.
shows and through the programming. 'Cause
Right.
we are a community radio.
Yeah, this is community radio. So for the most part, a lot of what we do here is a labor of love. It is a labor of love. The money is actually not even secondary. It's maybe third or fourth dairy.
Right.
But we're providing a service to the community, and the focus of KGPC more specifically is a wellness focus.
Right.
So we produce programming here that is going to help our community. So we want to help them with physical health, mental health, financial health, health, everything,
all of the health.
all the health.
But I was going to say we have a special niche here at this particular radio station. I feel like, right? Because we're in Oakalnd. We're in the heart of Oakalnd, and a lot of our programmers are people of color.
Right. I know.
And
Isn't that amazing?
I feel like that's very unique in this game.
I think
to be all in this one building.
I absolutely think
right.
it's unique, and I also think it's by divine decree. I feel that it is, because people of color get overlooked so much as far as what we bring to any given situation, and there must be something going on with me in a positive way to attract all these smart, talented, knowledgeable folks to this radio station who are really trying to do good. So,
but it's your energy too, Felicia, that brought us here and keeps us here and keeps us wanting to be around you, because you do have that love for the community, and you do have that way of bringing people together. There are a lot of people that are programmers here at our station that I would have maybe never met, that have been very enriching in our lives. I was already friends with Kat. Kat is the one that brought me here. Kat,
is amazing,
right? Yeah, and so
you're amazing too.
Thank you.
Don't get it twisted.
But I think that that's the energy that you bring, and that's the passion that you have, not just for this work, but for your community. And I think that one of the lessons that people that are listening to our show can gain from listening to you and your journey is that it is true. Anything can happen. You have come from where you came from, and I do want to hear a little bit more about your family of origin and your roots as we interview you today. But it's inspiring, especially to women. And I do have to say, as a woman, I'm very inspired by you and your drive.
Oh, well, fantastic.
She's like so modest too. She's all humble.
Fantastic.
So where did you come from, Felicia? What was your childhood like?
Well, actually, I came to Oakalnd. I'm born and raised Oaktown in the house. I'm representing.
Yes,
representing Jose. I was actually born in Pensacola, Florida, but I've been here since I was 2. So technically,
right.
I'm grandfathered in.
Yes.
I'm grandfathered in Oakalnd in the house.
Is your family? Are your parents from Pensacola also? or were they
My
born
mother
in-
is in Pensacola. She
Uh-huh.
lives there now. My
Okay.
father has passed
Mhm,
on.
mhm.
R.I.P. Dad. And but he's from Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
Right.
But he was raised in Berkeley. So my father was in the Air Force, and they met, and they had me, and they moved here. And I've been in Oakland most of my life, with the exception of living in England. I lived in Brentwood for a little while, but I am all the way Oakland.
See, your father's my homeboy because I'm from Berkeley.
Berkeley,
Yes.
right?
Hey, that's funny because we all have Berkeley ties in here.
Mm-hmm.
My
For
my
sure.
dad's side of the family.
Oh, it's Berkeley.
Berkeley.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
know
would
they all
almost.
knew, and
I
they're all
bet
the
you
same
my
age.
father knew your dad.
Yeah,
I'm almost
they
certain
all the
they
same
probably
age.
knew.
Right.
They all grew up
Right,
together somehow.
right.
That's dope.
Mhm.
I wish my dad made his transition last year, but it'd been dope to because I could. Back in the day, I could say somebody's last name, and then my dad would tell me like
Oh,
the
heck
whole
yeah.
family history.
Heck
Like, oh yeah,
yeah.
they used to live by San Pablo Park and this and that, and
Right.
so you know how that goes.
Yep.
We're gonna take a quick music break, y'all. You're listening to KGPC
We'll be back.
96.9 FM Oakland, streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. And this is the Anything Can Happen show.
So we got some music playing.
Gotta have patience. When you try and be a star, be my consolation. Trust in God, go to war, face to face with Satan. You see me paper chasing. Yes, you got
I'm
your
enjoying this one.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
I haven't been on the air with Felicia in years.
I have never been on the air with Felicia. I'm gonna go to the ladies.
So how we got 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Okay, it's not gonna take you that.
They hit the block slang, daily dedication. Practice game, baby. When my son came, it was game changing. 50 bands for the whip, the whole thing changing.
It's doing all right. This is okay. I haven't been on the radio in a minute. I've been.
We had to spark the beast in you again.
I know I've been so busy with everybody else's show. I haven't been doing my show, but I'm about with this studio coming up. It's about to be on and popping. I'm about to get some folks in here to free up my time so I can start concentrating and building up certain projects as well. Particularly about getting us on this camera. People need to see what we're doing. We're
creating history.
We are creating history. That's exactly what we're doing. That's why I'm so excited because it's just like, oh my God. And I know I got some haters, but all they can do is hate. They can't do anything else. Right?
When people can't see the vision because they're not called to do that work, that's when you get haters because they're not called to do the work that we're doing.
Right.
So they don't see the vision. They don't feel what we feel. So they're like, oh, these people, what are they really doing? And we're doing exactly what we're called to do.
Right.
Making the change that needs to be, creating the content that needs to be out there for us, for the community.
Right.
Yeah. I was watching this video. It was like a little mini documentary on how Sesame Street got started. Yeah, it was talking about because kids in inner city communities were so far behind, they wanted to create this programming that was more like, I never even tripped off of this. Like if you watch old episodes of Sesame Street, they're in the hood.
They're in the hood. There's other people of color.
Yeah, they're on the stoop. It was made for kids of color to be able to relate to and be able to say, oh, I want to get smarter. I want to help the program to mind to do other things. I was like, that's pretty cool. The CMOS is kicking in. The CMOS is kicking in. She's fired up. We got 30 seconds.
I was browsing around hoping I'd find the fan, but okay.
Oh, you didn't?
That's okay.
Marley might have taken it because he was in here yesterday claiming that fan because I bought him one too.
I
He's
have
like,
one at
this
home.
mine?
I should bring it
You
here.
got 10 seconds.
Okay.
Then I gave him all the money.
You're listening to KGPC 101.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quasi Dreams, and your man Cat Fitness. And this is part 2 of the legendary Miss Dr.
I know,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Dr. Felicia Bridges.
Go figure that one.
Black excellence in the Bay Area.
Excellence.
Black excellence.
We gotta get that on the shirt. We gotta get that on
Black
the
excellence.
Yeah. So I know we were talking about our ties, our family ties in Berkeley, y'all. And I want to just take it to this point, 6 years ago when we met, it was something in me that, like I said, I knew this was like the next step in my journey. And I thank God for being able to meet you, because you gave me the opportunity and gave me the confidence and gave me the platform and the voice to do what I'm doing today. And without you, this would have never manifested. Like, what was one of the moments in your life that you knew that you were doing exactly what you were called on to do?
I guess me never losing the vision and opportunities always popping up, and everybody always, and opportunities for me to run things. Mm-hmm. Can you take care? Can you run this? Like, I ran the weekend programming on KPFB at the time, where they were trying to see if they can get some traction on the smaller powered signal. And how we held that station down for 2 years, and we actually had listeners on that little station. Mm-hmm. And that was without streaming or anything else, but just the opportunity for me to be in radio always popped up. I always, when I look back on it, it's amazing, but I always got these opportunities that most people don't get.
Well, I think that one of the things that you're kind of referring to is that, I think a lot of people aren't thinking about it. Of course, it's hard work, of course it's being driven and it's not giving up, but it's seeing the opportunities and then saying yes to those opportunities. Because I do think we get a lot of opportunities coming our way, but so often we're scared to take those leaps.
Yeah, we say no.
Yeah, we do.
And it's weird, because I used to be deathly afraid, and I still suffer from shyness. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the radio, I'm not shy. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to talking about the radio, I'm not shy. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to broadcasting, even being out in people, I am not shy. Mm-hmm. Now, where
are you shy then? Dang.
I don't know, but I am shy.
Okay.
I'm painfully shy in certain situations.
So it's like I always say this. I say this all the time. It's one of my favorite sayings and one of my favorite books. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. Right?
Yeah, do it anyway. Yeah.
And so I think that part of it is if the risk is, there's a risk and reward, right? And so yes, you might be scared, but then you think to yourself, this could be really important to me, or this is my love, this is my passion, even though it's terrifying,
right?
Sometimes things that we love, are scary. When I retired, I was scared to death. I'm like, I'm gonna starve to death,
right?
But then the greater thing was I didn't have to stay at that hellhole, and then I also got to follow my passions,
right?
That I get to follow right now.
And something about following your passion allows you a certain freedom, like almost like, well, I'm doing this and I love what I'm doing. I don't care what anybody has to say. Mm-hmm. What's all going on around me? Because people say, "Oh, it's so crazy outside," and I'm like, "It's crazy good. It's crazy good for me.
It can be crazy, but it's also like you can take that in from other people, because we talk about this so often on the show, of how other people will see what you're doing, see your journey, and try to knock you down because they themselves want to be living a certain way.
Right.
But they are letting the fear control what could be their trajectory, you know. And it's terrifying, I think, for other people, you know, because it's intimidating,
Right.
you know, and life is intimidating. You know, it's scary to be out there
Right.
in all kinds of ways.
Right. Yeah, it can
You
be.
know, yeah. But
It can be.
did you raise your daughter to be the same? Is she kind of a strong? Now I know your daughter, and
Have you met Michael?
I love
Have
your
you met my daughter?
Of course I have. I have been to lunch with that lovely woman,
Oh, man.
and she is just so. Tell me. I mean, tell us about her a little bit.
My daughter I would get on my daughter's nerves because I was too reserved for her. So my daughter is bold, live, and in charge. She's a Leo, so she is
bold. She's
front.
amazing.
Yeah,
Ooh,
front.
ain't we in Leo season right now?
It is
coming
Leo
No,
season.
Is it Leo season already? Because it
We're
was just
deep.
Cancer season last week. That was my birthday.
We're deep into.
Are we deep into Leo season?
We're
Okay.
deep into
Okay.
Leo season
All right.
as this point, and
Okay.
she is every much a Leo,
Right.
Just every much, and my
Right.
daughter is very bold.
Did you do that? Are you responsible for that?
Part of it,
Mhm.
she just loved to perform.
Yeah.
So I really encouraged that. And she
Mhm.
was never, but she's never, I think naturally, she's never been shy
Mhm.
and none of that. She's just going to do things the way she wants to, and she's going to do it loud
Mhm.
and with conviction.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's one thing. We're a little bit opposite to a
Mhm.
certain extent.
Felicia, I got a quick question for you.
Mhm.
Dr.
Okay.
She's like, I'll take that.
Okay.
So you have a lot on your plate. You manage the radio stations. You produce over 30 shows here, right?
Mhm.
What do you do for self-care? Like that always amazes me.
Ah.
Like when people have so much on their plate, because some people just going to a 9 to 5, just doing a regular job can feel overwhelmed, but you have so many different hats
Right.
that you have at this station and in your own personal life.
Right.
Like, what do you do to manage your self-care? Like, do you meditate? Do you eat a certain way? Do you work out? Like, what is your routine for yourself?
Let me answer this for her. She'll be coming to my yoga class on Tuesday mornings at 6:30. My Tuesday morning breathe and flow.
I do need to go.
Zoom class.
I do.
It's only half an hour long, and so we'll see you on Tuesday. But go
Sh-
ahead and
shameless
Yes, I will
plug
be
right
there
there.
in the yoga on Tuesday for
Shameless
sure.
plug for
Because
Kenya.
I definitely
so
need
shameless.
it.
But yes, please tell us, what do you do, Felicia? Because
So-
we know you care about your health and stuff.
I do.
We've talked about that
I
a lot.
do. Well, I am right now on a journey because I have everybody know that sometimes I'm fit, sometimes I'm not. But I am a vegan for the most part. I am a vegan. I'll cheat on occasion by having, I don't know, some butter on a toast.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that,
They have vegan butter, right?
yeah, but I don't like the flavor.
Oh, the
And I-
Miyoko's is so good.
Right.
That butter's good. I like Miyoko's.
Oh,
vegan
I
butter.
like Miyoko's
Yeah, it's
vegan butter too, but I also buy the Amish butter because it's raised by Amish,
Yeah, that's
and they're
good.
not gonna have all those chemicals and stuff. And cows are vegan, so get off me on that one.
Right.
Although my daughter says something else, but anyway, somebody says there. Oh, my friend Max said he's making a German chocolate cake. Forget him. But anyway.
And Max is going to bring us some down to the station. Thank you, Max.
But I'm also I also walk. I have a walking meditation that I do every day.
Oh,
Ooh, why is it
Every
important?
day.
Why is it important to do it every day, though?
It allows me to kind of clear my head, set up my day, be grateful to the things that are going on in my life. I'm always saying thank you. And I have a particular point in my walking meditation where I live out on the water too. So I'm grateful about where I live. But I walk out on this pier, and at the end of the pier, there's all these coins. And for me, that is just my, prosperity. So I'm just saying thank you for the dimes, the quarters, pennies, whatever that's out there on the edge of this pier. I just say thank you. And then I walk back, but I'm always processing, thinking about, my next moves and so forth. And that walk helps me do it. And I do it every morning. I get up, I be looking toe back. Anybody's welcome to join me, but I walk and I meditate.
What
And
time do you do that? Because I might.
It's a route. Sometimes it's 7 a.m.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't do it too late because I kind of have a control of my time. But 7 a.m. is a good time for me. It's not a whole bunch of people. And I just go and walk. And I do that every day. Now I'm trying to, because I do that, I'm trying to also fit in a workout in there because I do want to be able to, be bikini ready on the beach somewhere.
And also,
Hot Girl
too,
Summer 2022.
Right.
And also, too, we want to be, strong as we get older.
Yes.
I said the same thing when I just had my birthday last week or whenever that was, a week and a half ago. And one of my goals is to lift heavier weights.
Right.
There you go. Come on.
And so
build some new muscle over there.
I have a lot of room to build. So and so do you have fitness goals that you are working on right now?
Yeah. I really want to get that ultimate body. I've come close, but I actually want to just get it where I finally got that hit body that I'm looking for.
What's stopping you? What's slowing you down besides being 18
here?
hours a day?
Right.
At the studio.
You know what? And I think that when I get that body, it'll also be because it's a personal challenge that I have, and there's this threshold that I'm trying to break through, and I think that it's personal, but it's also with my career, and so it's that final push that I need to get myself through. So nothing, but it's my own mind. So just setting that goal and making it, because I'm thinking, I need to be around other people in order for me to reach that physical fitness goal, because I was with other people in the past. But I think because there are things that I'm clearing out, and it has to be on me this time.
I know a fitness trainer.
I think I know one too.
I do. Do
you
you
know
see him
somebody?
when you look in the mirror every morning?
I'm just saying.
Well, Kat is actually amazing, and I've actually worked out with him sometimes. So maybe I could work it in or something, because he is actually a really good trainer.
I think between he and his thang and me and my thang,
right?
And that stretching,
because I definitely need to stretch.
Oh yes, and stretching is. So I'm about to do a stretch workshop too, and that is so important because a lot of us skip that part. I know I skip it too sometimes.
So, how long ago did you see yourself doing what you do now? How long ago was this something that you were like, I'm going to manage an entire radio station and have the programming that I want? I'm going to have all these amazing producers and all this stuff. How long ago did you see all this? And how long did it take to come to fruition?
Okay. So, actually, I saw this goal about 7 years ago when I met you.
Wow. Okay.
And and it just so happened, just being on the station, it just so happened that they asked me, can I manage the weekend programming? And so I started doing that, and I did everything. I made sure I wrote the manuals, everything. And then when I came to the district, I was in communications, but I wasn't in radio. What I did do is I did produce a radio spot for the school, and for the school that I worked for, with a shout out to Berkeley City College, because I was the PIO there for a minute. I decided that I was going to reach out to the chancellor, who actually was my dissertation advisor when I was at Mills, and she left, but the opportunity to get on the radio presented itself. And I took it.
Not say no.
I took it. Right. I'm like, what? You guys need me to do what? And so it just worked out. It worked out. Now I had, some people like, I don't know.
Well, right. And so it didn't just work out. And that's what I'm saying is it didn't just work out. You had to say yes to the opportunity.
Yeah.
But then you also had to kind of back off the naysayers, because there's always naysayers.
Right. Always naysayers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people question perhaps my technical ability. But
is that because you're a woman?
I think so.
And women
it was
don't
never,
understand
we don't understand it.
these things.
We don't understand, but they didn't realize that I'm an engineer, and so I know the boards. I know how to run cable. I know how to operate all the equipment. So
what would your advice be?
That wasn't an issue.
What would your advice be for women who are, because we know, we have a lot of people listening to our show and a lot of people who are interested in stepping outside of what's expected of them in their lives and their careers, if they even have a career. What would you say to women? And, also too, our country is leaning so conservative in a lot of ways and kind of pushing women down and being a little bit controlling of women and their bodies, but that's another show, people. So what would you say to women to fight the good fight if they have something else, something bigger that they want to achieve or pursue?
Well, one thing I am wholeheartedly believe that no is never no. It's never final. And if somebody says no, if you can't do it, make it. You make it yourself. So, for example, nobody ever thought that I was supposed to be like a general manager or even in radio, but I made it happen. And all I know is that I just kept pushing through, and not in a loud and brash way, but in a determined, focused way.
And that's your way. Because not everybody, I think that's such a good point, Felicia, because everybody thinks that if women are going to be successful, they have to be really aggressive. And there's all these negative terms and negative connotations. And you can just be who you are.
Right,
you can be yourself.
Just be you.
There's all this negative talk about not having a seat at the table, be the table.
Right.
Build your own table. I've seen a lot of that recently. And you can do things your own style, right?
Yeah, you could definitely be you, because I figured that's been the key to almost every success that I've had in my life. Just being me, and being me is goofy. Being me loves books. Being me loves food. Being me loves to talk about food. Being me just loves technical things. And so I just felt comfortable and just start loving me and just being me and knowing what I wanted and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until I made it.
So we're getting close to the end of the show, and I got one last question for you before we get out of here. Since you've manifested being the general manager of this station and having such great programming, what is the next step? What is the next step in your vision?
The next step is to operating a global wellness network.
Ooh, Lord.
And you heard it here. That's it. I'm putting it out there in the stratosphere. And I know it's going to happen, because I have never not gotten a wish, good or bad.
Right. So wait, can we backtrack just a touch? I know we're coming to the end, but can you please tell us, what does that look like?
So that is a global network. So it's going to be video, radio, television, where all the programming centers on wellness programming. So if it's yoga shows, if it's
who do you know that could host one of those yoga shows?
Oh, I have somebody
who
I know is fantastic and has the gift of personality and can talk.
Oh my!
Yes.
I can't fathom who you might be referring to.
So, and those of you who are interested in being a part of some type of franchise, y'all should watch me, and better hold on, because I'm about to take off with that endeavor, because it's going to happen. I've been working on it for quite some time, and it will happen.
It's exciting. That's exciting.
Ooh. So, Felicia, do you have any last wise words you want to share with our viewers today?
All I have to say is that it's important to have yourself a short game, but a long game, and be okay with it being a long game.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, when you look up, the long game will feel short, and just the satisfaction of just doing something that you worked for a long time to achieve, manifesting. There's nothing like that feeling.
Yeah.
And I, man, I woke up this morning on my meditation walk talking about I feel happy because there's just so much good things that are going on in my life, and it's all because I just kept doing and loving what I do and having good people around me. And I think that's important because I have amazing people around me, and I just I get so giddy about that. So
we love you, Felicia.
Keep that long game going.
Good. Keep it up, because you have manifested great things. You've given people opportunities to live their dream and be able to be a positive impact on our community. When a lot of times, we only see a lot of low vibration, I would say, stuff, whether it's social media, radio, whatever the case may be, and you're putting out some high frequency information, high frequency positivity in our inner city communities. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we love you for that, and keep on doing your thing, because you're going to continue to be blessed in so many different ways.
I without a doubt know that is true.
Yeah.
I do know that's true.
Yeah.
That's going to take us to the end of the show. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc96.9.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share our content, y'all. We want to make sure that we're not only locally heard, we're worldwide heard throughout the entire nation, y'all. Woo! So thank you once again, Miss Dr. Felicia Bridges, for doing what you do, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace. Boom.
Miss Dr. Felicia.
Thank you.
Miss Dr. Felicia Bridges. You gonna give us a drop, Felicia?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
So how do I stop this?
The exit.
Okay.
And then share.
Nice.
I'll share. Oh, I got at least 9 people because I don't never be on Instagram ever.
Okay, right.
Felicia, we got you back in the studio. Back in the studio with Miss Felicia.
Oh shoot! I gotta call him.
Uh-oh. I forget to call.
God, I got so many people.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.